Yeah, some days I feel unfazed, like when I'm with my friends with a cup raised. Come Monday, I got a gun raised, suicidal do or die until hump day. Then I go right back at it like an automatic. More drinks, more songs, more beats to rap. I need a shrink, I'm gone, more time keeps passing. No watch, no thoughts at all, just a hat, new era. Rep my P's and those O's, need the Phillies with the orange and black to feel home. From Citizens Bank back to Camden Yards, it's a tale of two cities and trust we go hard. Trust we go hard, yes we go hard. You said we go hard, I said we go hard. Rockin' my Bob Cousy, stocking up on the loose. The lyrics come easy, but the life is a doozy. And yes, I'm choosy, and no, I won't settle, but I still take pop off over that kettle. Cause I'm talking bigger picture, and yes, I'm gonna hit you with the...
About a month ago, I made a video on Australia's greatest TV show, and you guys loved it. But what if I told you there was another Australian TV show that's just as good? Well, if you clicked on this video, you'll already know that that TV show is A Current Affair. The main difference between RBT, Highway Patrol and A Current Affair is that RBT and Highway Patrol are meant to be funny, but A Current Affair is just as funny, but not on purpose. The whole purpose of RBT and Highway Patrol is to find Australia's most cooked unit just to put them on TV for us to laugh at, whereas A Current Affair does the exact same thing but completely by accident.
The monk caught shopping at Sexyland.
It's a bad back month.
You may have heard the phrase slow news day. This phrase is used when mainstream news have nothing to report on, so they report on something stupid like this to fill in time. But you see, the difference between A Current Affair and mainstream news is that every day at A Current Affair is a slow news day.
You'll reckon someone in her unit block has interfered with her roses. And she's going door to door to find the culprit. A Current Affair tonight.
Now, after hearing that, it's safe to assume that all the stories that make it to A Current Affair are pretty much dog shit. But boy, are you wrong. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through some of the best A Current Affair stories of all time and some of my favourite recurring segments. So now it's time for me to stop the waffle and get into it. First up, we'll start with a bang with Corey Worthington. In January of 2008, Corey Worthington held the best house party of all time. All in all, 500 people showed up and they managed to ride off the entire suburb of Narre Warren. But the most famous part of this story is his infamous A Current Affair interview. You see, a lot of people weren't happy that they didn't cop an invite. This included the police and of course A Current Affair. The following week, Corey decided to do an interview with A Current Affair. Wearing his Sunday best, combined with his attitude of who gives a fuck, Corey unknowingly created one of the greatest moments in Australian TV history. Some of the best moments of this interview include Corey refusing to take off his glasses because they're famous.
Take off your glasses and apologise to us.
I'll say sorry, but I'm not taking off my glasses.
Why not?
Because they're famous.
Corey refusing to apologise for the party.
Are you sorry?
Yeah, I am.
You don't sound very sorry.
But I can't be exactly blamed for everything that happened because it wasn't in the house, it was out in the street and I didn't do it
Corey's shameless plug for his brand new event planning company.
What would you say to other kids who were thinking of partying when their parents are out of town?
Get me to do it for you.
And of course, many moments like this.
Well, we've got to go, but I suggest you go away and take a good long hard look at yourself.
I have. Everyone has, they love it.
Where he showed A Current Affair who's boss. Next up, we have my favourite recurring segment and something A Current Affair is famous for worldwide. You've probably already guessed what it is, and if you haven't, it's hooning. A Current Affair loves to tell the audience that hooning is bad and dangerous. But what they don't realise is that hooning is the only thing keeping the TV show alive. You see, 90% of A Current Affair's news stories are boring shit like this. But the hooning stories is what really brings in the views. If you want to watch a shitbox VN Commodore with belt whip all up the side tip in an industrial estate, there's only 3 TV shows in Australia that show that sort of thing. Those being The News, 60 Minutes and A Current Affair. And while it is true that Channel 9 and Channel 7 News post some good content when it comes to hooning, there's just something about Tracy Grimshaw that really captivates the audience. As you guys may know, I have a PhD in a few different subjects, and recently I've been researching into why a current affair still gets views, and my findings may shock you. There's two reasons why a current affair still gets high views. The first reason being that it comes on straight after Channel 9 news, and because it takes people a few seconds to change the channel, that few seconds watching a current affair counts as a view. So if Channel 9 news gets 100,000 viewers, so does a current affair. But the second reason it still gets so many views is if the preview for tonight's program has an AU Falcon ripping a fat skid. You see, if the nightly preview has a video of an AU Falcon putting on a smoke show, me and the other 25 million Australians know that we're going to be in for some good TV. Alright, let's get back on topic. One of the most important components of a current affair that makes it unique from the other Australian news channels are the reporters. These guys believe that the utter nonsense news story that they're reporting on is groundbreaking. These guys will willingly get assaulted, run 14 kilometers to chase down a criminal, willingly cop a facial enema from a houso, and then come back for round 2 just for some dumb news story that people only watch because they think it's funny. A current affair reporters have a PhD in pissing off loose cannons, and their camera crew is just as talented. But you see, I've got to respect these guys because they'll put their life on the line just to make some mundane news story as entertaining as possible. Alright, that's enough about the reporters, because next up we have another one of my favourite recurring segments, and that is Dole Bludgers. The reason I love the Dole Bludgers segment so much is because it shows me what all my tax money goes towards, and it makes me happy that instead of fixing potholes or making public transport free, my hard-earned tax money is going to some bum sitting at home smoking bongs all day. But the best thing about these Dole Bludger stories is when the reporters get involved. Due to the fact that these guys have no job and nothing to do all day, when the current affair reporters walk into their habitat, it's on. And that provides some of Australian TV's greatest entertainment. While we're on the topic of Dole Bludgers, we'll get into our next segment, which is Neighbours from Hell. Neighbours from Hell is another great recurring segment that a current affair has. The thing that makes Neighbours from Hell so good is that 90% of the time, the neighbours in question are also Dole Bludgers. And due to the fact that these guys are also Dole Bludgers means that when the reporters get involved, it makes for some great entertainment. One of my favourite Neighbours from Hell is this guy right here. He goes by the name of Wild Wayne. Wild Wayne's specialty is ripping up the street in his 3-wheeled Harley and doesn't like his neighbours at all. But my favourite Neighbours from Hell story of all time is this one, where they turned Sam Cucchiara into a water feature. Neighbours from Hell is just one of those current affair stories that you know whenever it's on, it's gonna be good. And it's a simple, classic format that never gets old. Now the final story I'm going to cover in this video is one that you would have all seen before. This story is an absolute Australian classic. Yep, you guessed it, it's Barking Dog Man. This man right here was interviewed in a story about dangerous dogs, and included in a recount of his own personal experience with dangerous dogs, he did this famous impression. Over the years, Rabbit Ray's impression of these dogs barking has been viewed millions of times, and is by far the most notable thing a current affair has ever done. All in all, a current affair is a dumb show, with dumb stories that try and turn a fart into a cyclone. They'll make a story on any new trend, such as Prime or Fortnite, and try and make it sound like it's going to be the start of World War III. And while it is true that a current affair is Australia's dumbest and most ridiculous TV show, that's exactly what makes it so damn good, and I personally can't get enough of it. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment and share if you'd like to hear more teachings from the Prophet of Yorak Hunt. And as always, a shout out to the people who made a donation to the charity of my bank account. I copped a parking ticket last week and you've helped pay for it. And if you enjoyed this video so much that you stuck around right till the end, comment AU Falcon to let me know. And make sure to check out the website and buy a t-shirt so you can be as good looking as this guy.